It's Sunday, the 27th of May, about 9:30 in the morning. Linda was spreading some mulch around by the greenhouse, and she came across something that I'd like to share with everyone. Here is a molted snake skin, and you can see how long the skin is. And what's really interesting about it is, I'm getting down on the ground here, that the head of it, if you will, is really sticking in a crack in the greenhouse as if it has a dent in there, and that's where it's living, and it's coming out. And that, you can see, it's about 3.5 feet long, which is kind of interesting. And I'll show it with the head of another one. We just finished this morning. This bed's out behind the greenhouse, has fresh mulch on it, and way down here, just barely starting to come up, if you can see them, are some hollyhocks. We've had hollyhocks in this area ever since we've lived here, and they're coming up again. And then over here we have some bib lettuce. Getting almost at the end of the season for bib. It's supposed to be 95 today, so this lettuce is going to be gone. Now if I walk around the tree here, see a couple interesting things. The sunflowers that you see growing here pointing into the sun are all volunteers from birds taking them out of the big garden and bringing them up here to eat and dropping seeds, and that's the way things get propagated, all the way from cherry trees, which we call French row cherries, up to some pretty tall. Here's one that's as tall as I am, so it's approaching 6 foot tall, much bigger than the ones in the garden. Over here are 6 birdhouse gourd plants, and they are, a couple of them are starting to have some blossoms on them, as you can see there, and they are starting to stretch up. I probably should water them later on today, but you can see how they are growing extremely well. They're starting to send out tentacles, and one of them has already grabbed on to this Colorado blue spruce, which is behind it, and they should climb up by the end of this summer. They should be way up in there if history repeats itself. This guy here's got tentacle out also, and I'll put this post over here by where he is, and hopefully he'll be able to grab that. I'll have to put out some other posts. So that's quick shots going on. I'm going to go out to the garden now, and I'll take another shot of what's going on in the big garden. This is a shot also on the 27th of what I refer to as our big garden. There are 35 tomato plants that are doing really well. The entire garden would profit if we had some rain, but you can see for yourself what they're looking like. We're starting to develop some blossoms here in May. We've had tomatoes by mid to end June before, but I don't think we will this year. Here's a row of 30 or some pepper plants, different varieties, all the way from very, very hot to very, very mild. Some of them are starting to develop blossoms also, and way down there there's actually one that has a small pepper plant on it. There's a volunteer sunflower right there. And this row here is a mixture of sunflowers and blue lake bush beans, but I think the sunflowers are going to win, and whoever wins, I'm going to let them go. In this particular, the next 2 rows are a variety of 3 foot or so tall, multiple head sunflowers that are decorative. The rows that we're seeing here are called doves, and They are very good. Doves really love the seeds on the sunflowers on them. And the rest of the rows are the equivalent of Russian mammoths. These are the guys that grow to be 8 to 10 foot tall and have gigantic heads on them and are really, really big. You can see Birdie out there browsing around. And the last thing we have here, you can see the blossoms out on them, are 6 hills of zucchini that are over here to the edge. Out here in the field, we have soybeans this year, and you can see that they are coming along very nicely. The farmer that farms for us recently sprayed, so some of the horse weeds that are out there are starting to go down. That's what it looks like on Sunday morning in the garden with Birdie. Birdie boy, come on, let's go. Birdie. I just finished putting mulch around all the trees that line the road out front, and they look pretty nice. And I just thought I'd take a quick shot so you can see what mulch around the trees looks like. And there are ones up there and up there, and we have marigolds in a bed that's over there. And I'm working on cleaning up the beds out here in front, which are an absolute mess. And that's kind of what we look like out front in the Feezer farm. And that's it.